And as they say, coming in hot. Welcome, the Hagman and Hagman Report, folks. Yeah, a terrorist attack at the concert in Manchester, I believe it is UK, Ariana Grande. But and it's no, I got to tell you, Eric the Tech, it was with her, or it's my understanding he was by or with her this summer, a couple months ago, I guess, or no, I'm sorry, earlier this year. So he knows her at least at arm's length. Interesting series of events. That's Ariana Grande, Manchester. Before we get back, or before we get into this May 22nd, 2017 edition of the Hagman and the Hagman Report, want to mention TradingPostInTheWoods.com. You know what? This past weekend, in fact, for the last week, my dog was suffering. Lady, the studio dog, she was suffering from a little bit of the vet said it was kennel cough, okay, which she got from, not because she was in the kennel, but she got from Jackie's dog, Theo, who is a rescue. So anyway, long story short, Trading Post in the Woods, their special formulas really knocked that malady away from Lady. Did a great job. Humans as well. My wife, sinus infection, bang. This worked really well. And a number of things. In fact, everyone in the studio has used products from TradingPostInTheWoods.com. We can attest to their effectiveness, and we can attest to the fact that TradingPostInTheWoods.com, they will provide knowledge to empower you. In fact, talk about the skills to equip you, the supplies that we use to sustain and assist us. And they've got a like-minded staff at Trading Post in the Woods, like-minded with you. Visit TradingPostInTheWoods.com. Check out their simple survival's American Heritage Remedies Kit that they created just for the listeners of the Hagman and Hagman Report. It's fantastic. Folks, TradingPostInTheWoods.com, and tell them the Hagman and Hagman Report sent you. Before I kick it to Joe, I want to mention I was on with Dave Hodges' Common Sense Show last night talking about the Seth Rich homicide. Everything Liz Crokin said is 100% accurate today, and she's working on this. And I would urge you, if you don't mind, I'm asking our audience, this is a call to action for our audience. If you are on social networking, just follow her on Twitter, Facebook, and in fact, just send a tweet saying, heard you on Hagman and Hagman. That this raises her visibility, our visibility. It raises the subject. We need to flood the internet communities with this information. Again, this is because unraveling the Seth Rich homicide, and Thursday when we speak to George Webb, who has some communication with him today. If you don't know who George Webb is, WEBB, oh, get ready, because the Seth Rich homicide is connected to many, many things. Unraveling that will unravel the whole enchilada. I believe it'll put the fake Russian hacking narrative to bed. There was no Russian hacking situation. It was a leak by, and this is my supposition now based on a lot of investigative research by Seth Rich and others. This was and George Webb, parallel investigation with George Webb, our team and him, of course, and he's combining forces. We're offering him everything we got. It would appear that Seth Rich was part of the turning over the thumb drive, not sending it electronically, but turning over the thumb drive physically for delivery to WikiLeaks, ultimate delivery to WikiLeaks. I'm not going to get into the nuts and bolts of that, but that's what that's all about. The other question here is Joe Capone, Lewis City Bar in Washington, D.C., White House, 4 days before his murder on July 10th, 2016. The 89-minute phone call from Seth Rich prior to his murder. Where was Seth Rich from 1:40 a.m. to 4:19 a.m. on July 10th, on the morning hours of July 10th, 2016? And Is it possible that the murder of Seth Rich, is it possible? Because we don't really, even at this late date, we don't have any idea which hospital he was taken to. We don't. Not with any degree of certainty. Is it possible that this could overlap into, you ready for this? Organ harvesting. I'm just asking. Just asking. Justice, of course, vengeance by the individuals who viewed him as a traitor to the progressive cause. That's just a question. I'm not making any accusations. I'm asking that question. Could it go that deep? And one more thing, and I'm going to turn it to Joe for this breaking news. One more thing, and everyone, please, Daily Caller. The Daily Caller today. The author is Rod. Yeah, I'll get it here. I got it right here. Hang on a minute. I'm sorry. The author is Luke. Come on, where is it? His first name is Luke. You can go to Daily Caller, look at the article titled House IT Aides Fear Suspects in Hill Breach Are Blackmailing Members with Their Own Data. This is a critical story. I will link to it, or maybe John, if you can, link to it in the program area. But this is a critical story. This overlaps into the Seth Rich murder, perhaps, as well. So, having said that, all of these are items that we're working on. I might make a trip to Washington, D.C. myself this weekend. I told my wife this morning before I left the house that I was planning on that, or perhaps making some arrangements, because we need to get to the bottom of this. Joe? There, Luke Rosiak. Thank you.
That's the author of the...
Author. Yeah, I had it written down. I've got, seriously, I've got so many pages of notes. It's incredible. But Luke Rosniak, check out his article at the Daily Caller. The title is House IT Aides Fear Suspects in Hill Breach Are Blackmailing Members with Their Own Data. We talked about the Awan brothers. George Webb talks about the Awan brothers. This does overlap with the Seth Rich homicide, in my view. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess we don't know too much, except in Manchester, UK, at the Manchester Arena, some sort of bomb went off in the entrance exit way. There are a number of videos and clips on YouTube, Twitter, and social media that are showing the aftermath of this. And some numbers are coming out. They're saying, up to 20 casualties, more than 60 or 80 injured, but those are unconfirmed reports. The train station in Manchester, the Victorian train station, is shut down, and they say that this is being confirmed as a terror attack. Some local politicians are now taking to Twitter calling it a terror attack, but they're still trying to sort this out. This was again at the Manchester Arena. An explosion at Ariana Grande concert causes multiple deaths and a number of injuries. There are reports that there was either one or two explosions, one confirmed. Well, they say injured after explosions at the arena. There was 17,000 people at this arena, and this was after the concert was over. The lights came on. Apparently, people started to exit, and then a bomb went off, causing mass hysteria inside the venue. I guess we're going to have to wait for more to come out. That's all that I can really talk about that is confirmed. There's, like I said, lots of videos, lots of social media posts, and there's a very heavy police presence, and they said they'll be updating it as soon as they find out. But just from the videos that I've seen of the aftermath or inside the arena, the people running and leaving, there definitely, was cause for that. There's videos with people with blood all over them from their friends and whatnot. And apparently, is this American singer, Eric? It's an American singer. And they're saying the venue is filled, mostly with women and children. So not good coming out of Manchester, UK. There's a few articles up on Drudge, but nothing's confirmed except that there has been explosions, there are casualties, and the police are trying to sort out what happened and what the extent of the damage is. Apparently, the singer's okay. Um, just a lot of people attending the concert in the UK have been killed or injured. So something we will definitely keep our eyes on as more terror attacks seem to be happening in Europe at a much faster pace than years before. But we know that this is the direction they're going in as the mass immigration uh, is continuing. But let's jump into some other news. Um, I don't know how many people saw this. I posted this on Hagman Report earlier today. This report was also from the Daily Caller. Leaked Facebook documents reveal self-harm allowed by network's moderators. We've seen a huge increase of suicides and violent crimes being committed on Facebook Live. Well, apparently the guidelines of Facebook Live were released by some moderator or moderators to The Guardian, say that the live stream of acts of self-harm should not be removed because the social network does not want to punish people in distress. Facebook has yet to respond to the alleged major leak published by the newspaper, dubbing the release Facebook Files. It details how the social media giant moderates graphic content, including violence, hate speech, terrorism, pornography, and racism. Amongst the hundreds of files reportedly seen by The Guardian are guidelines for dealing with self-harm that show how the company will allow users to live stream attempts to self-harm because it doesn't want to censor or punish people in distress who are attempting suicide. Does this make any sense to you?
No, not at all. And that's what social networking is doing. See, they're grooming people for this particular. They're grooming people. They're allowing this. Now think about this. They're allowing this to go forward on Facebook. They are yet they are saying organizations like us and organizations like us are fake news. So what's really happening here? You take a couple of steps back, folks, and look at the bigger picture. This is not just Orwellian. This is I can throw some other words out there, I guess. But you're looking at a total transformation of the social media landscape to push people toward this perverse and accepting of the perverse while rejecting the real news, and rejecting real issues.
And they go further. After they say they don't want to censor or punish people who are in distress, who are attempting suicide, they say this: experts have told us what's best for these people's safety is to let them live stream as long as they are engaging with viewers. One of the documents explains removing self-harm content from the site may hinder users' ability to get real-world help from their real-life communities. And I would disagree with that completely. These people are obviously attempting to gain some sort of attention by doing this, or are showcasing something. I think the audience probably enables them more than half the time to be able to do what they want to do. I guess I'm saying if somebody wanted to commit suicide on Facebook Live, why would you keep that content or that video up there of them streaming live saying they're going to commit suicide? Well, if you shut it off, wouldn't it all at least at some level of your mind think that would deter them from? But I didn't get to do what I wanted to. Right. It might be, but
look, it's backward thinking. Okay, if you take away the platform for which, as you were stating, if you take away their platform, it is thereby disallowing them to do something. Take away the cop in a suicide by cop scenario, same thing. Take away the platform, the venue for Facebook Live, for these people streaming live videos. I mean, look at the video that was streamed live on Facebook by the killer in Cleveland who killed that older man in Cleveland and wound up in our city. Look at that. So the bottom line Stevens? Here, yeah. The entirety of the social networking platform is grooming for perversion while taking the real news out of the mix. And it's interesting how there's very little conservative or right backlash against this. And I think that, we cannot wait for alternatives be created. We must recreate and redefine, in my view anyway, redefine the rules on the current social networking platforms that we have before we can move on and create others. I'm a big proponent of, look, let's work with what we have. We get dealt a hand. Facebook is certainly not a platform I really relish, yet we have to exist there, or if we choose to do business perhaps in a network, okay, you exist on that platform, but you exist there to change it, to the extent possible for the good. And I'm not talking about any type of altruistic changes or motives. I'm talking about getting the truth out there, using their own devices against them. This is what I'm talking about. By the way, something that's been on my mind: people who think the special counsel Mueller, and I didn't get to this in talking with Dave Hodges last night. People who think that Mueller is in fact a good guy, remember he was an FBI director that was appointed on September 4th, 2001, I believe it was, right before the week before 9/11. But he was also involved during the Clinton administration. He was the point person, FBI point person for the TWA Flight 800 incident. Folks, Mueller does not have truth's best interests. His best interest is not truth. And those people on the right and the conservatives, moral, political conservatives and Christian conservatives who are saying, well, Mueller is a good guy, and all, what planet are you from? Go back in history and look at what he had done during the Clinton administration and his position and his role in TWA 800. We had Jack Cashel here in studio, and he could tell you all about that. So people better watch this special counsel in the form of Mueller. Now, just to be clear, the that special counsel, that the laws have changed. The special prosecutor, special counsel law expired in 1999, I believe it was, but which is why they refer to Mueller as a special counsel as opposed to a special prosecutor. But how about directing his efforts? And this is what could take place. You could let him go, and he could direct his efforts into the Hillary Clinton matter by way of the Podesta Group lobbying Russia's largest bank, receiving $900,000. That's Podesta's group. The Podesta Group representing Uranium One, and of course in his position as chairman as well, to the Clinton Foundation, Lanny Davis, many others. Okay, just think about that. But the fact of the matter is, you've got Robert Mueller is not a good guy in my view in terms of this whole situation. We are monitoring the situation in Manchester. More news as it breaks.
Yeah, they confirmed it was a nail bomb.
Nail bomb. It was,
and
travel.
Yep. At least 20 people are killed.
All right. In just the next segment, we're gonna have Diamond and Silk on with us. If you haven't seen them, if you haven't seen them, oh, you gotta watch them. Oh, it's hilarious. They're real, not just hilarious, but they're very on target in terms of what they are saying and what they're the audiences they're reaching. they are conservatives. They are political conservatives, and they have a pretty wide reach. So they're going to come on and talk to us at the top of the hour.
And just another update on the Manchester Arena terror attack. Apparently there was, this is an unconfirmed, at least it's confirmed by a local police source there, that there was another nail bomb found in the Victoria train station, which was shut down after the first bombing. And the bomb police are there trying to take care of that. But that's just a quick update as to what's going on there.
So it definitely was
a
terrorist attack, and
Drudge has
we're going to say it was an Islamic Muslim terrorist attack. I'm not going to.
Drudge has some updated info. 20 dead at Grande Gig nail bomb blast. Yeah, absolutely, it was a terrorist attack.
And they've got cameras everywhere in London, as they do DC and New York, but so they should be able to identify, if they so desire, they should be able to identify the perpetrators, or at least the people who planted the bombs at the arena.
We haven't
or
talked
Monday.
about this. I know we were talking about Seth Rich earlier.
Yes.
Any comments on the Kim.com
Yeah.
allegations?
Yeah.
He's a hacker who
Yeah.
said he was part or involved with Seth Rich giving the emails, the DNC emails to WikiLeaks, and apparently has made some claims that he has proof of phone calls and different things, but those have yet to be seen.
Yeah.
Have
All
you
right.
read over what he's been saying?
I've seen it, yes. And I'm not prepared to make any comment on it at this point, Kim.com, that whole situation, because with respect to Seth Rich, this is an entirely different, this is not a hacking scenario. This is Seth Rich
Right.
working for the DNC, downloading. Now, what I'm about to say has not been authenticated or proven by the Metropolitan Police Department in Washington, D.C., or the FBI, but you can kind of fill in the blanks and connect the dots. What Seth Rich did during from we'll say April of 2016 onward, in his capacity as an IT operative for the DNC, IT guy for the DNC, he began to notice funds being diverted from Bernie Sanders. And I'm no lover of Bernie Sanders, believe me, the guy's a socialist. But from Bernie Sanders to Hillary Diana Rodham Clinton. Now think about that for a minute. Because Seth Rich was, of course, working and creating software that allowed or provided access, easier access for voting for people at the polls. So that's what Seth Rich was doing. So somewhere around April, I'm looking here at my notes, somewhere around April perhaps, he began noticing that funds were being diverted, but not just funds. Other issues, other things were taking place. Okay, here it is right here. Other things were taking place that, in addition to donations and funds, numbers were being munged on the Bernie Sanders side. This is before Clinton actually won the nomination, and Bernie Sanders was still in play. So he compiled documentation, as far as I have been able to tell, for April, May, June, and that's as far as I got. Now, George Webb, I believe, was able to verify through an independent source more than that. And based on George Webb and confirmed through one of my sources, the information that exposed this, as well as the 44,053 emails and the 17,000 plus email attachments, were loaded onto a portable device, which was then given to the gentleman by the name of John Jones, who just happened to be hit by a train, or his body was found on train tracks. I shouldn't say hit by a train, but his body was found on train tracks, and was part of this. And I'm going to use George Webb's term, rat line, of WikiLeaks people that included, but are not limited to, Michael Ratner, John Jones, Gavin McFadden, Craig Murray, and even a sixth, which George Webb has identified as Eric Braverman, which is something he calls, I think, the Powerball 6. And again, he's going to be with us on Thursday. If you have the opportunity, please, folks, educate yourself on the investigative findings of George Webb. One thing I disagree with George Webb on is his selection of candidates, his political ideology. Him and I do not see eye to eye on it, but I'll tell you what, he's a great investigator. And he does talk as well. And you're going to have to think bigger when you get involved in this rich investigation. He does mention that Seth Rich was last seen at 1:45 a.m. and was not seen again until he was found on the ground at 4:19 or 4:20 a.m. So that period of time, minus the 89 minutes that he was reportedly on the telephone, on the cell phone with his girlfriend, which that there's some questions there, but we'll set that aside. The homicide, if in fact this homicide was committed if the motive was plugging a leak, and you can check my Twitter feed out at Hagman PI. I asked who called the plumbers. If that was the motive, then ask yourself this question: wouldn't it make sense that if that was the scenario that took place, wouldn't it make sense that somebody would have attempted to find out as much information or find out what Seth Rich knew at the time that he was shot? I think so. And that takes one into the area of fentanyl and fentanyl interviews. Okay, it gets deep. It does get deep. So, and there's also a question about the allegiance, or I shouldn't say allegiance, or where Joe Capone falls in terms of this investigation. Was he really a friend of Seth Rich, or could it be that the bar owner, Joe Capone, could it be that he represented a proprietary of the CIA? Could it be that? Possibly. Watch George Webb. Watch his investigative research on YouTube.
And then you said Thursday on
Thursday.
Here, right?
Yeah. He nails a lot of it.
All right, folks. We will be right back after these short messages. When we come back, we will be joined by YouTube sensation Diamond and Silk. We're going to get into a little bit with them. And then after that, Dr. Michael Lake and Steve Quayle will be joining us for the second half of the show. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to this edition of the Hagman and Hagman Report.